Hello, Case for interwebkaiju here. This is Garen cutting some onions, so he's crying a little. If you don't know Garen, he's a Gamera villain from Gamera vs. Garen, or whatever the other title is. I'm not entirely sure. But today's movie is a request from David. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I'm not going to butcher it, but anyways, he requested King Kong Escape. So this is King Kong Escapes. The thing that sticks out to me the most about this movie is the music and the sound effects. Both are done phenomenal. Production-wise, almost everything is great. Practical smoke explosions to show gas bombs are spot on. Camera work is good. The buildings when Kong gets to the city look great. I particularly really like this tracking shot of Kong and our protagonist in a car. King Kong still looks goofy in general, but a lot better than in his movie with Godzilla. Some moments, like when he rolls back from Gorosaurus' kangaroo kick, look great though. About that, the kangaroo kicks, while used a bit much, look fantastic. Gorosaurus himself looks cool. His skin texture is something I really like, as well as the movement of his tail. I especially love how good he looks and moves compared to how little he is in the movie. There's also a brief moment with a sea serpent, which doesn't look nearly as good, but if you're looking for a variety of kaiju, it's here. There's a lot of cool ideas. This hover car, which is kind of just there without a big deal made out of it. Mechanic Kong himself is unique, not him being a robotic Kong, but his design is interesting. He's made for a reason other than to fight a giant monster, which normally doesn't happen in this genre. I love his name, much better than Mecha Kong, Robo Kong, or something people less imaginative would have named him. There's a lot of references to the original Kong, the minimal love story between Kong and Pretty Girl. Gorosaurus is basically an allusion to the T-Rex fight. At the end, he climbs Tokyo Tower, which could be seen as a parallel to him scaling the Empire State Building. The natives of the island Kong inhabits is downplayed a lot, and I'm all for that. Thankfully, no chant dances. The only downside to this is that there's no extravagant, primitive structures, but a fair trade in my mind. There's a lot of projection work in this film, and none of it is actually bad, just not great. Well, this shot is great, but the rest are just alright. Doctor Who is a bit like a bad comic book movie villain, especially his look, the cape, those eyebrows, but at the very least, the way he looks is one of the most memorable things about the movie. So is it a good thing or a bad thing? Because honestly, I don't hate it. It's just kind of silly. Another thing that borders on a pro and a con are the human miniatures. They don't look bad in themselves and add a nice sense of scale, but they're completely still, so it also breaks immersion a little bit. The scenes are all cut short, so nothing too bad, but it would have helped to cut a bit quicker in my opinion. The constant beeping from Mechanic Kong gets annoying well, it was always annoying. Same can be said about the noise that Kong's headset makes when he's taking orders from Doctor Who. What they are digging for sometimes gives off a piercing noise as well. So every digging scene is an attack on the viewer's ears. A lot of people think that Miss Watson's voice is annoying, but I don't mind it, except for when she's talking to Kong. It's sort of like an over-dramatized voice people use when giving orders to like maybe a pet or an infant. You can see some wire work here. While I'm glad the story isn't just a rehash of former Kong movies, and I like the fact that Mechanic Kong wasn't created to fight other kaiju, the narrative is confusing. Not because it's jumbled or there's too many things going on, it's just not very logical. Mechanic Kong is made to be exactly like Kong, but to dig up Chemical X. And when the magnetism in the hole disrupts the circuits, Doctor Who then steals the actual Kong to dig instead. And then, as the title suggests, King Kong escapes. Outside of his look, Doctor Who is a terrible antagonist. The movie basically just shows him failing, time after time, at everything he sets out to do. He's not even menacing. The actual fight at the end between Kong and his mechanical counterpart is too short. Well, the ground part is, while the less exciting part where they're on top of the tower goes on for too long. So that was King Kong Escapes. Definitely recommend it. There is no reason why you should not watch King Kong Escapes. It's a little anticlimactic, but it is fun. It's a good time, but campy. It's nothing deep. There's not too much character development going on, but I really like this movie. If you have any movies you would like me to review, leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.
You're going to die.
What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?